think we're recording. I can't actually tell if we're... All right. Looks like we are. Ladies and gentlemen, Shine versus MMA. This is going to be some exciting stuff. Here's the thing. So, last game, I actually ran into Drewby. He looked a little dejected, but I think he's really just looking forward to finding out who he's going to be able to go up against in the lower bracket. In fact, a lot of people could have probably told him building those fantasy brackets. Mm-hmm. So, maybe tweet at Drewby. Let him know you're rooting for him going into this game. But either way, guys, let's point out something that's interesting here.
Yeah, we've got 2 racks coming down from MMA.
So, going to be likely trying to put on some pressure here. And Shine is going to spot this. One of the things about Shine, he is a Zerg player who doesn't mind drone scouting from time to time.
He's going to slowly pick away. He's actually very close to killing off that SCV and just about making away with it. So is MMA going to continue that 2 racks production. But look at this. That drone, so unbelievably diligent, might get that SC... Well, that's 2 SCVs now. He's taken to 5 hit points. But we do have a 3rd one building the barracks now. And 3rd time lucky with those redundancies as MA sends a 4th SCV just to make sure nothing of that nature is going to get through for Shine.
Well, here's what was really smart there out of MMA. If he tried to send this FCV that had 5 hit points to his opponent's base to do any scouting, Shine, you can see he's bringing the drone down now. In fact, he's attack routing it, looking for that SCV that had 5 hit points. He's saying, all right, right now it should be arriving. Where is it? I don't see it. Okay. All right. I'm kind of sad. And now he's going to see this SCV arriving that's actually completely full. But also wants to make sure, of course, that no bunkers constructed. Ohana's a great map for that. You can get a couple of bunkers here, put Marines behind this wall, and suddenly you're in a lot of trouble. And we do have the first Marine moving into the natural expansion now. Shine going to be pulling a couple of drones as well. Will be attempting to chase that Marine away. And it looks like MMA is actually not going to try anything at this point in time. He knows that Shine is preparing for this. Of course, the 2 racks was completely scouted. 8 lings as well, about to complete, and a spine crawler starting for Shine as well. So in just a minute, he's going to be completely fine against any sort of early game aggression, but those lings were forced out of him. Let's also point out here that MMA is continuing to make Marines. Although he wants to follow this up with a command center, which we should be seeing momentarily. He's now hit 400 minerals. He's not investing over economically right now. He's actually like, all right, I'm perfectly fine. There finally is the expansion. And he's actually, I'm really surprised right now. MMA is a little bit not keeping on top of his macro. There we go. The Marines are started, but yeah, MMA. He's going to keep the pressure on. He's going to force units out of TSL Shine. And he's off to a great start. Yeah, he's going for that 2 racks expansion there. And Shine's just going to be poking out around the map with some of those lings. That ling did die over at the 4th base location, but got a decent read on how many Marines there were out on the map. So Shine is going to know at this point that the 7 lings he has remaining at the watchtower will not be a good threat. Overlord's getting into position now to scout the gases of MMA. We'll see that only just being taken and immediately darting out without being seen. Great scouting. Yeah, Shine is playing extremely well right now. A very crisp response to the 2 racks. Now making sure that he gets the information necessary to deal with all this. And MMA, man, well, he's patrolling around the map with his Marines right now. And he's, it's good that he's staying active with these. You don't want to open with a 2 racks and find it's unsuccessful and then just pin yourself down in your base. So, the SCV does get saved. A beautiful play there from MMA.
I would hate to have his job.
Oh, man, that was great.
That bait job, SCV. Look, we just want you to stand here.
Man. Live it on the edge.
I don't know, man. 10 hit points standing by the watchtower with lings out on the map.
See,
that's
that guy.
Death wish, man.
You know The Walking Dead? Have you seen that?
I haven't seen, but I've heard a lot about it. I really need to get around to watching it, actually.
Yeah, you should. There's this scene where this guy has to go down into a well because there's like this zombie walker, trapped down in the well, and it's all bloated and it's poisoning the well cell. And I'd want to be that guy that goes down the well, Which actually, he's like,
hey man, be my guest. We need more volunteers like you. I'm glad people like you are out there, man, because I ain't going down there.
Over giant canyons.
And we do have a Marine, a little bit of a poke around into the natural expansion. We'll spot that the Queen might be a little bit susceptible there, killing off a ling or 2, but the spine crawler from Shine is positioned excellently to prevent any aggression going on. The problem is, though, is that M&A will probably get a cancel on this 3rd if Shine doesn't do something about it very quickly. And it looks like he does want to save it. A lot of lings coming out. Good surround. Great positioning there from Shine. And the Marines will get picked off. No cancel on the 3rd as well. Nice little pick up there from TSL.
Shine is just playing beautifully right now. The timing of those Zerglings and speed finishing. We looked up on the ramp right when the Marines started shooting at the expansion. He actually did not have speed. He only had about 8 Zerglings. It would not have been enough to kill off those Marines. But right in the last second, speed kicks in. Shine has 10 more Zerglings pop out and cleans that up beautifully.
Really, really good play. Very solid coming out there from Shine, and also meaning that his macro game does not get far behind his all. His third hatch is about to complete. MMA, on the other hand, though, he does want to be floating that third orbital, to his third at some point pretty soon. He's got his factory and engineering bay down, so that starport and reactor should be going down. There we go, instantaneously there to get that quick medevac production.
Now, MMA could try to take that greedy third, because of course, Shine did go for a relatively fast one, but really you want to wait until medevacs are on the field, because until then your opponent just has such fantastic map control, as we can see right now. Shine is holding both of the Xel'Naga towers, so any push that's going to move out, he has an incredible amount of time to prepare for it. Actually, he'd have to lift to barracks, unfortunately, but I'd love to see MMA move out to the tower and take out this Zergling, or at least take possession of the tower. But
sure,
if right now he tried to take this third out, he could quickly find himself in trouble. So wait until medevacs are out on the field, and then you now you have map presence. Now you're out on the field, and even if Shine does try to make a big play here, you can lift up your medevacs you can lift up your Marines, into the medevacs.
Well, let's talk about what Shine wants to do to try and combat this potential third going down from MMA. He's getting 1-1, which is about to complete as well. He has a Baneling nest down. Decent number are popping out just as defense right now, and he's getting his creep spread going. So he's going to be able to move in with some Baneling aggression, should he wish to do so against a potential third, but he hasn't seen any sign that MMA is taking his own third yet. Like you mentioned, Kibbles, he's waiting for those medevacs to pop out at the moment. It is going to try and move over now, and he does have a lot of Marines to defend it, but Shine's going to know the exact timing, and he will have Baneling speed complete pretty soon.
Yep. Marines are going to be taking out the destructible debris. As you said, Shine is going to have the potential for some aggression here. We'll see if that's the route he takes, or if, he wants to grab a fourth base and tech up. He's got a Spire on the way right now. And he's also working on that Baneling speed, centrifugal hooks on the way. Zergling here for MMA, that's a little bit sloppy. I really want to see some great play out of MMA throughout this tournament. Yeah. It's pretty standard. You send a Marine or two over there. So MMA, focus, and he's obviously got the capability to take down some of the best players in the world. We just need to see him play like it.
And we have a couple units getting taken out there at the Watchtower. MMA retaining control there for now. Another Ling moving out around the 5th base location, just patrolling. Looks like he's going to get picked off by those Marines and Marauders. There we go. Good pick off there. And that Ling's actually pretty important because it can scout for drops potentially coming out of MMA's base.
All right, the creep spread from Shine is pervasive, and as you said, that picking out that Zergling super important. Marine's going to be catching an Overlord right now as well. Shine, as you mentioned, a little bit like Snoot in the regard that he will just have Overlords everywhere.
Oh, he really does, and you can. If you take a look at his map vision right now, it's just he sees almost everything that isn't MMA's base right now, and that's pretty useful indeed. He finally relinquishes control of that top Watchtower, but he has got that great mobile force of Zerglings and Banelings with speed complete around his half of the map. He is trying to take his 4th base at the same time, and there was a scout from MMA, so he did see it, but I don't think he has enough to push in right now.
All right, looks like that Marine was taken out by just 2 Zerglings. And it looks like MMA is going to have to lift up into these medevacs in a second. No, Mutal is going to be joining, in fact. That's right. He's just going to be falling back to the rest of his army. 157 supply right now to 134. MMA, not in a terrible position, though. He does have 1-1 completed. He's got siege tanks on the field. And, in fact, a very quick 4th command center as well.
And that's the big problem, really, being in MMA's position when you are playing against a Zerg opponent that has gone for that Spire. You want to be able to just to say, look, I can lift up and run away if needed to, but it's very difficult to get into a position where you need to do that simply because of the number of Mutalists out on the field. But forget about the Mutas for now, Kibbles. It looks like a la series number 1 that we cast here today, the order of the day is going to be deep fried Baneling.
This is so many Banelings. 28 of them made. Another 2 popping out right now. 2-2's about to complete. This is going to be an incredibly powerful timing attack out of TASL Shine.
Oh, and I wonder if the Banelings are going to go straight up into the natural because the siege tanks are fortified at the 3rd base location at the moment. Does he have any tanks up behind the natural expansion? The Marines moving out now. MMA has to be so careful. The tanks are at the 3rd. They are not at the natural. So I'd like to see Shine potentially go straight into the natural expansion here, Kibbles.
Yeah, it could be a
really
fantastic move, but MMA's getting a little bit gutsy right now. He's going to catch a ton of Mutalisks, though, and TSL Shine suddenly has had his mutant count drop down to just 5.
Oh, good God. The Siege tanks are on siege, though, and the Lings are now moving in with the Banelings behind them. Decent target fire, but the tanks are sieged up too late. They're moving up across the ramp right now. MMA trying his best to split, doing a good job, actually, with a decent number of those Marines, but he's moving away from his third base, and now Shine is inside with Lings, with the mutas he has left, and with a couple of Banelings sitting outside just waiting.
Well, MMA can actually, he can engage against these reasonably well. There aren't any mutas left, really. There's 3, so if he loads up into these medevacs and drops Marines down, he can actually engage this because there's no anti-air, but the SCVs right now are going to have to retreat as Banelings. There's 3 of them just waiting to explode on everything. The Marines gonna come and save the day.
That was extreme patience from MMA. I don't really know how else to describe it. He sieged a single tank in his natural expansion, guys, and he target fired the Banelings. There were 3 left, and he continuously microed his SCVs until the point where the Marines came in. If we take a quick look at the workers lost there, as unfortunately this 4th base looked like it's going to go down, 18 workers were killed by Shine, but remember the number of Banelings we had, Kibbles. I expected many, many more to go down there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, MMA did a phenomenal job holding that off. You mentioned the target firing. I mean, it was beautiful. We saw half of the Banelings explode before anything even happened, and then MMA trapping his Marines against the Zerglings here made it that the Banelings could not get through in time.
Okay, there are the SCVs. God, the 4th base almost burnt down there. Needs to be a little bit careful, but he will be able to get that up and running. Yeah, that engagement started with Shine catching MMA siege tanks unsieged.
Yep.
It was a great start engagement for Zerg, and then when he finally got into the 3rd base and split MMA's forces, MMA just switched something on, man. His micro was brilliant. The target firing with that tank was superb, and he displayed a lot of patience there not to run his units and just try and get as much damage done, because that would have actually potentially got in the way of the SCVs and allowed the Banelings to connect. He handled that so well.
All right, well, lots of anti-harassment tools going down for Shine. He knows that MMA is very, very strong in that department. We can see Spore Crawler and Spawn going down over here to the left as well. And in fact, beautifully timed Spawn Crawlers. Look, we were just looking at them building, and now they're complete. Shine just knows this so well, but
wow.
It looks like MMA may be taking out this spawning pool. In fact, it does go down, and even enough energy for another transfuse there for Shine. So MMA making some plays.
Yeah, that was really, really good coming out of MMA. Shine managed to transfuse twice. You mentioned he had enough energy to transfuse a 3rd time, but I suspected the Marines would have been able to take it down anyway. It just meant they would have had to lift up a little bit later. We have the spawning pool already being remade, of course, before the original one was taken out. And we're getting pretty close here, I think, Kibbles, to an almost split map situation here on game number 1. We have 180 to 174 supply as it currently stands in MMA's favor, only just. And he has a decent Marine tank army out, but I'm not sure it can combat Shine's army if he's on creep.
Well, you know, that creep is still there, but only now does Shine get vision of this 180 supply to 169, guys. MMA is up in supply for one of the first times in this game. Banelings coming in, making decent connections. Siege tanks are going to clean up the leftovers. It's always nice, you know, if you engage siege tanks, though, or Marines with Banelings when they're in a line.
MMA, though, his screen was obviously somewhere else just then, because he got 2 really, really nice connects with those Banelings before anything happened. Now MMA is giving this battle his complete attention. The 4th base is actually getting quite low here, and it looks like Shine might be losing out. A couple of Broodlords popping out as well. No transfuses on the hatchery as it currently stands. Just another engine. That's not going to be enough to prevent it from going down. MMA has done the damage, and he is just going to be retreating at this point. He's killed off a base. That's good enough for him.
Oh, but Shine is going to capture 4 free siege tanks, and that is more than a half for MMA. Not
chain
quite, okay.
fungal on the medevacs. Did he actually get them off? No, he didn't. So only the one fungal. MMA actually has an opportunity to move them away right now. That was
pretty insane, actually.
It could have been worse, though, because Shine had the potential to sack a whole bunch of Lings and kill off maybe 2 or 3 more tanks, and he opted to not do so. And MMA actually still not sieged up at that watchtower.
Yeah, that's a tough call. 4 siege tanks versus a hatchery. You know, a lot of lost mining time. Because Shine was making the transition into Broodlords, I'd say that's a victory for MMA, because it's going to make that many Broodlords pop out that much slower, and this allows the starports for MMA to finish up, and he can get out of Vikings to deal with these. But,
that's right.
You know, in a lot of circumstances, the tanks would would be more valuable, but with a quick switch to Broodlords here, a victory for MMA, I'd say.
Well, let's take a look at the number of Broodlords that are currently out on the field. We have 6 at the moment, and MMA has just gone into triple starport production with reactors. So that's a lot of Vikings / medevacs that could pop out at any one time, and Shine needs to be careful not to overcommit to these air units. Great positioning, though, picking up yet another couple of tanks here, and if Shine gets this army completely out of position and cleans it up, MMA's going to have a really difficult time reinforcing himself.
But this is really intelligent out of MMA. You could say he's trapping himself right now, and he may be, but this buys him time for those reactors to finish up so he can make the Vikings. Ling's coming in right now, and that is exactly what MMA needed. He just killed so many free Zerglings, and now, yes, he's going to lose some Marines right now, but he's perfectly fine with cleaning up some supply to make some Vikings. He's got a nice bank right now. He is losing some tanks for free to these Broodlords, which is definitely not good. He's going to be engaging with his Marines, trying to clean up what he can. He's dropping in supply pretty substantially, but at the same time, he has dropped into the main base and is going to be forcing Shine's army to come all the way home.
And I think the Hive might be going down here. It's looking like it's getting very low, and the units are nowhere close enough to protect it. So MMA doing a great job with this drop. I have to say, though, at the beginning of that engagement, Shine sort of pulled back just for a second, and I can't help but feel if he moved in with some Lings and got a fungal or two off, it might have been very difficult for MMA to get the drop into the main base in the first week, but that would have been a completely different game. He, though, has dropped down so much in supply. He's at 123 to almost maxed out from Shine, so he needs to replenish very quickly.
Absolutely. That is, I think it was too much. Losing that much supply and only doing a little bit of army damage. You know, he did tons of infrastructural damage. Make no mistake about that. If this game goes on for another 10 minutes, I mean, MMA is going to be ahead most likely. But
here's the problem,
I don't know that he can actually survive even this attack.
Exactly. I mean, okay, Shine has a lot of supply basically held in Corruptors right now, right? And he also is only just now finishing his layer again. So it's going to take him a while before he can get back up to Hive, although I think the Great Aspire is still alive. But importantly, during this time, if Shine just decides, well, look, I'm just going to get lots of Zerglings and Banelings and move in, there are 6 Vikings at a time being produced from MMA that are going to be useless against that kind of army composition. He has to be so unbelievably careful right now. We have got the engagement going on at the 4th.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough to engage against this. There's so many Corruptors here. If these Infestors capture these Vikings with the fungal growth, we can see nice splitting out of MMA.
God.
But it's, you know, he just doesn't have enough stuff, and this is what we were talking about.
Yep, the Banelings just cleaning up the SCVs that would have repaired that planetary fortress, and it looks like it will just... Oh, it's actually being defended at the moment, and it's being repaired from behind. Has Shine perhaps erred a little bit in this game? He's still ahead, though, by 80 supply. I think he's going to be okay, even bringing Queens into this, but we do have the planetary back up to over half health. So not picking apart those SCVs quite as efficiently as he would have liked, but it's going to be enough anyway. GG, and Shine, ladies and gentlemen, takes game number 1.
Yes, he does, Jorisar, with beautiful form at that. I mean, he was in control for the majority of that game.
I think so. I love the way he was pushing back with those Zerglings and Banelings out in the middle of the map when MMA was trying to push forward with the tanks. We had situations where MMA had a really nice tank line going, but Shine waiting for the exact moment that those tanks were unseated, just picking off a couple with those Zerglings and slowly whittling away with the army. And like you mentioned, later on in the game as well, when MMA came down to the bottom right section of the map and ended up dropping into the main base, that bit, it really confused me because he just got up to 3 starports with those reactors on. He's going to be able to pump out that Viking production, fine, but he no longer had the infrastructure to pump out the ground army quite as quickly, and I was really worried that if he lost that army, he was just going to be really behind, and it looks like Shine just took advantage of that.
Yeah. You know, it was pretty obvious why he wanted to go for that big attack.
Yeah, sure.
He needed time. He needed time to make those Vikings. He even made reactors on the starports, but perhaps a little bit of an overinvestment. Regardless, guys, there is going to be a game 2 no matter what. This is a best-of-3 series. I am Kibbles.
And I am Jorisar, guys. Don't go anywhere. We come back. Game number 2 between TSL Shine, who is currently 1-0 up over Acer's MMA. Don't miss it.